I'm Jenna.
And I'm Patrick.
And this is our 1983 Toyota Sunrader.
So if you're new here, my name's Patrick and I run Elevated Overland. What we do here is we outfit Toyotas and Toyota Sunraders with bigger tires, four-wheel drive conversions, engine swaps, stuff like that. What we have behind us is our personal Toyota Sunrader. This thing is four-wheel drive converted, 3RZ engine swapped, and we have some big old 35-inch tires on it. So before we get into this as it is now, let's go ahead and recap it as a two-wheel drive little baby. So we're just going to go back a little bit in time and show you what it was when we first picked it up. So this was built in 1983. It's equipped with a 22R engine under the hood. This has had the rear axle upgraded to the full float 6-lug dually rear axle. It's actually pretty much a time capsule. This model was equipped with quite a few things. We have AC in the cab, we have heat, we have cruise control, which in 1983 is pretty rare. Got the rooftop air conditioning up top. And for this side, that's pretty much everything. We have some storage here, storage here. It's latches are broken, so we'll get those fixed. Overall, pretty solid unit. The rear ladder does have a ding in it. Probably get that replaced. Replace the rear taillights as well. Those are aftermarket. Shore power works. Everything in here actually does work, which is pretty surprising. So you can tell in this rear corner, have a little bit of fiberglass damage. I am pretty efficient with fiberglass, so we'll get that patched up, no problem. Access panel here, there's actually nothing back there. These are for the refrigerator. We are missing this fender, a little bit unfortunate, but this thing will be getting four-wheel drive swapped, and when it gets four-wheel drive swapped, it'll get some mean bushwhacker fender flares that'll look a lot better and clear the giant 35-inch tires we will be shoving under this. Hot water heater again works. There's the furnace outlet, also works. Got these cool levels on the outside, you know, knowing you're level for sleeping. A little bit of front bumper damage. You can see the old for sale sign in the front cab over window. So before we go into the coach, I'll show you around the cab. It's a very nice time capsule, actually. So a little bit of dirt on the floor, but oh man, these are in great shape. Everything works. The seats are in phenomenal shape. Aftermarket armrests. I think these are the original Sunrader seats. 4-speed manual transmission. Like I was saying, we do have cruise control, heater, the original radio. The dash mat was actually used to protect it. We have a little bit of damage here, but other than that, the dash is in great shape. 122,000 original miles. Carpet on the floor, like house carpet. They did that with these camper conversions. We actually do have the original manual for this Sunrader. It runs really well. The 22R pushes this thing around actually phenomenally. And while it's still stock, we'll go ahead and check out what's going on in here. So this has an aftermarket deadbolt installed. And coming in, we have kitchen over here. We have not touched this since we bought it, by the way. So everything you see is how it was when we purchased it. These upper cabinets, we have a vent for cooking. We have the air conditioning, which works. All the lights work. We don't have 12 volts hooked up to it. Here's the wet bath. So you can see the toilet over there. A little bit of storage behind the medicine cabinet. Shower, sink, a little bit more storage. We have not tested any of the water yet, so I say everything works, but use that lightly. We have the converter here. We had this out just making sure everything worked. All the cabinets are in good shape, relatively at least. So spice rack. One thing that really impressed me about this is it sat for 3 years before I purchased it, and there was little to no mice droppings in here. And this is a New Mexico desert rig, which means no rust, but lots of rodents. So that's pretty neat. This comes out. This is a giant pantry. We have, I forget how this opens. There's a trick to opening this. Huge closet in here. These 21 footers really have some space. I mean, it's got a closet rod. You can actually hang clothes. A couple drawers down beneath. Carbon monoxide sensor. The Dometic refrigerator works. We have tested that. All the latches on almost all of these are busted, so we will get to that Cab over's in great shape. If you remove this, there's little to no water damage in the corners, which is very rare and hard to come by. This does remove, so you can easily pass through from here to the captain's chair when you're ready to drive. Have these swiveling seats back here. Room for 2, 4 people, 5 people can very comfortably sit in this area while someone's still in the kitchen cooking. So the 21-footer has a massive layout. And we're in New Mexico, so it's a little bit deserty here, and it's still middle of winter, but not a bad view, not a bad view. And I mean, you can really tell in person, at least. I'm not sure how well you can tell on camera how spacious this thing is. The biggest downfall about this rig is going to be the water damage on the roof. So, if you look there, this vent has a leak. Eventually it will get a full gut and a full restoration, interior and exterior. But these windows sure are sweet. We have a bunch of windows in this unit, and the 21-footer, that is where it strives. It's now that we have all the windows up, you guys can see it's pretty bright in here. And that's still with the front cab over windows, the blinds on them. So I really like the captain's chairs when you sit down in them. Lots of room. You can have your breakfast with your wife or your significant other. Have all this space for guests, kids. This is a bed as well, so if you have kids or guests, they can sleep down here. Other than that, that's pretty much it. We have an oven and a range here, which is awesome. We have a hood, paper towel holder. The bathroom's here. The layout in these is really cool. I've always kind of been a 21-foot Sunrader hater, as I'm kind of the guy who converts these to four-wheel drive for a living. So the 18-footers are much better suited for that. But just the overall space of these 21-footers can't be beat.
Now that you've seen what it originally looks like, let me show you what it looks like now.
So back here we have our custom rear bumper, our spare tire mount, our trasheroo, and I installed some new LED taillights in place of the old ones.
Back here we have custom fender flares with 35-inch dually tires, which was possible with the adapters that we got from Dabtech.
And the adapters that we got from Adaptech, we will link in the description to their website. Motorsport Tech out of Reno, Nevada. Super helpful people, super awesome. They helped us out with the build, so got to give them a thanks. Also, our friends over at Yukon Gear and Axle also helped us out with the build. Super big thanks to them. Off-road Solutions, cannot forget about them for the wiring and the engine bay. So we had a bunch of friends, including Sky's Off-Road Design. All the four-wheel drive swap components, a lot of them came from them. So we had a bunch of help in this, and it's super cool to have people like that on our side. Alright, so at the front of the truck, obviously I did a ton, and there's a ton of modifications, so I'm not going to paint general trying to explain them to you. Start at the front, we got a winch bumper I built with an 8,000-pound winch. While we were out at King of the Hammers, Factory 55, saw that we were not running adequate gears, so they hooked us up with an ultra hook, so thank you guys at Factory 55. We got our 35-inch tires, some mud flaps, a bunch of custom suspension components, crossover steering, bypass shocks. We have a lot of really cool components under here. 529 gears from Yukon Gear and Axle. All the four-wheel drive components are from Sky's Off-Road Design, so thank you, Sky's Off-Road. We are working with a company to try and develop some leaf springs specifically designed for these four-wheel drive Sunraders, so that's really cool. I retrofit some OEM four-wheel drive mud flaps and painted them white because that's super gangster. We have an SR5 grill that I've been saving for my entire life. Some new headlight bezels, some new LED headlights, and then we also changed the power plant. So I guess we'll show you that next. Alright, so under the hood is one of my favorite engines Toyota ever had to offer. The Toyota 3RZ. So, this is a great motor. It's 4-cylinder, 150 horsepower, 177 foot-pounds of torque. When it was new, they run like new all the time. No, I'm just kidding. They do get tired, they do get old, just like any engine, but I really like the ease of maintenance, how they fit in the bay, how they look, and they do like boost, superchargers, turbos, they like all that. While we were in here, we actually went ahead and tucked all the wires out of the engine bay, so made it, just cleaned it up a lot in here. We have our Optima battery. Really, I don't have a preference on battery. That's just what they had. That was a good battery when I needed a battery. We have a radiator that I found in the shop. I mean, all of this stuff I had. I built the intake. Everything else I really had. I didn't spend a whole lot of money. This is all laying around the shop, so it's pretty easy for us to throw together. You will see a turbo on here very shortly, so stay tuned for that. That'll be cool. Turbocharged, 4-cylinder, 3RZ, Toyota Sunrader. But yeah, that pretty much does it for in the engine bay. I mean, it's uneventful, but it took a lot of work to tuck all the wires and all that good stuff. So yeah, it was a process. So we'll go ahead and show you inside now that you've seen the outside. If you want to see what it looks like after going to the King of the Hammers, hitting the whoops, and having a good time for 2 weeks, because I'll tell you, I was expecting a little better. So let's go ahead and hop inside and see what that looks like.
Alright, so we kept everything mainly the same except the electrical system. We upgraded to a lithium battery bank, and we added solar on the roof, and then we changed all the light bulbs to LED lights. Just like Patrick said before, this is an after video of the King of the Hammers, and we kind of went too hard on the whoops, and this is kind of what happens to 40-year-old wood trailer paneling. So right here is our battery monitor. And right below it is our 3,000 watt inverter, which powers our outlets. All of our latches also broke, as our door is now held on by a hair tie and no longer latches.
So real quick also, here's a sneak peek of the electrical system. It's far from perfect, but it worked for what we were doing.
So when you pull this drawer out, you see even more of the damage.
So what you see here is the entire wall separating. Everything is coming down. The fridge is that used to be stapled here, and now the whole fridge structure is trying to fall down. The cabinet knobs are falling off. The cabinets are falling from the roof. Everything is pretty well toasted in here. So, although it still is comfortable, and everything still does work. Overall, I think the RV held up pretty well. No, alright. The interior didn't hold up well at all. So, obviously, it cannot hold up to what I have to throw at it. Whether that's what the normal person has to throw at it, I don't know. But I think this 40-year-old RV definitely took a beating in the 12 days we used it. I wasn't easy on it. I'm not easy on anything I own. The chassis, suspension, and drivetrain held up great. We do have some transfer case noise, but we had transfer case noise when I put the transfer case in. That's nothing to do with the rig itself. The interior is done. The 40-year-old mobile home paneling, it's just not cut out for it. So the desert, the whoops, the going fast, the rocks, everything, it took its beating on it. So we're going to build accordingly. But we are going to build this interior, and we're going to go ahead and do a full restoration, full rehab, make it a very functional van. Four-wheel drive van, four-wheel drive Sunrader, and you guys can look forward to that. So we also are going to go to a lot of Overland expos, a lot of shows this year. We're going to go to Overland Expo West and Flag. We're doing Pacific Northwest, hopefully, and we're definitely doing Mountain West. So if you're going to any of those, hit us up, let us know. We'd love to hang out. We'd love to see you. And again, thank you to everyone who's helped us, Off-Road Solutions, Skies Off-Road Design, Adaptech, Bora, you guys. We also have Warren, Yukon, Gear and Axle, and gosh, I think that's it. Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's been cool. It's been really cool. So there's a lot for you to see in the future. We're going to be gutting this, rehabbing it, using it in the meantime. As soon as it's back to gutted, after we replace the subfloor, we'll go out and use it again. We just, got to get good structure going. So, unfortunately, I do have to bust out my fiberglass gloves again, so not stoked on that, but it is what it is. Hopefully, you guys will tune in for the ride. So, thank you for coming here, and if you like this, hit that subscribe button, hit the like button. It really helps us out. If you hear this long, come on, you got to. So, thank you, and I'll see you next time.
Bye.